Welcome to NC Wine Snobs as we savor the world one sip at a time. In this episode of NC Wine Snobs on Vacation, we stopped at a tasting room for Big Creek Vineyard in downtown Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
The tasting room is located at the foot of Race Street, right at the visitor center and the old train depot there in Jim Thorpe, right along the Lehigh River.
Pictured here, you can see the tasting room menu at the time that we visited. The first wine up on this tasting was the Saval, and its nose was that of pear and green apple and grass. It had some flavors of citrus, some light fruity sweetness. This could be a really good front porch sipper wine.
The next white we had was Moonlight White, made from the Cayuga grape. It had a very floral nose. It was very dry with kind of these sweet apple notes that lingered on the finish. Some lemon undertones to it as well. This would probably pair very, very well with cheese, fish, chicken, sort of those really lighter type flavors.
Our third wine is Vin di Pasqualino, and it was a blend of red and white Niagara grapes, Saval, and Maréchal Foch. So it's a blend of a variety of grapes that they had available. It had a peach and apricot kind of nose to it. It was peach in color and peach in flavor, and it had a nice medium mouthfeel to it.
Next up was the Maréchal Foch. This one kind of had a lot of chocolate on the nose, as well as some dark sweet cherry on the tongue. It was slightly sweet, but kind of a fruity sweet as opposed to sugary sweet or syrupy sweet. This actually drank very well on its own, but it could very easily be paired with food as well.
Our next wine that we tasted was the Frontenac, and it had some berry flavors and chocolate flavors on the nose, and it was very fruity without being sweet. It was dry yet soft. It had some notes of cocoa, and we think it would really go well with steak or pizza.
After the red of the Frontenac, we moved on to Dulcinea, which is more of a sweet white. We got aromas of some grassiness notes, some honeysuckle, kind of a little bit of rose as well on the nose. From a flavor profile standpoint, we picked up a lot of honey, some pear. It was very sweet up front, but kind of a tart finish with flavors that reminded us of lemon and green apple. Very refreshing.
Our next sweet wine is a sweet red, and this is the La Brusca. It had a light cranberry kind of color, but it was made from Concord grapes. The nose was definitely that of Concord grape and berries, and the flavor was cherries and blackberries and raspberries.
Next, we moved on to the apple wines. First up was apple raspberry, and this really punched you right in the nose with a big raspberry aroma. From a flavor profile, it had a very light mix of raspberry and apple flavors on the tongue. And it was really more of a mostly sweet kind of wine as opposed to being an overly sweet wine.
And our last wine on our tasting was the Spiced Apple, which is also a sweet apple wine. And it had some Granny Smith apple aroma to it and apple pie spice. And that apple pie spice and apple flavor was a little bit drier than we expected for a sweet wine. And we think it would make an excellent syrup for pancakes if you reduce it down. It would probably also work really well with pork. So overall, we really enjoyed our visit at the tasting room for Big Creek in downtown Jim Thorpe. Also highly recommend visiting downtown Jim Thorpe. They have a great tour there. You can take a trolley tour and get some of the history about the area. Really wonderful place to visit. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell turned on. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to